Professional boxer Paul, the Punisher, Williams's life until the age of 20. Birth and early years. Paul Williams was born on July 27, 1981. He grew up in Aiken, South Carolina. As a child, he was very energetic and mischievous on the school bus, even getting into fights. Boxing begins age 8. Lee Wells, a school bus driver and boxing coach, suggested Williams channel his energy into boxing. His mother, concerned, agreed, and Paul began boxing at age 8. Wells was Williams's first coach to give him basic training. Intervening period. After Wells' death, Williams took some time away from boxing, saying he was doing teenage things. Comeback teenage years. Through a friend, he was introduced to Final Round, another boxing gym in Aiken, where he trained with trainer George Peterson. Although Williams said he played both sides outside the ring in his younger years, he returned to boxing and solidified his foundation under Peterson's guidance. Amateur career. He had around 20 to 25 amateur bouts. Turning professional, age 19, he made his professional boxing debut in 2000, just 6 days before his 19th birthday. By the age of 20, July 2001, he was already winning consecutive matches early in his professional career and was undefeated. Paul, the Punisher, Williams's 20s to 30s, approximately 2001-2011, span the brightest and most critical years of his professional career. Here's a summary of this decade. Early rise, early 20s. Paul Williams began his professional career in 2000, at approximately 19 years old. In his early 20s, he gained significant height and reach, 6 feet 1, 201 centimeters reach, quickly rising through the ranks as an undefeated talent at middleweight and above. He won numerous fights during this period, bringing his career record to 33-0 through 2007. World title and peak, mid-20s. In July 2007, at the age of 25, he defeated Antonio Margarito, one of the most feared fighters at the time, to win the WBO Welterweight World Championship. This was one of the pinnacle moments of his career. However, he suffered a shock defeat in his first title defense in February 2008, losing his belt to Carlos Quintana on points. This was the first loss of his career, 33-1. Switching weight classes and big fights, late 20s. Just 4 months after losing to Quintana, Williams won the rematch in June 2008, defeating Quintana by first-round TKO and reclaiming the WBO welterweight title. However, he soon moved up in weight and began fighting at junior middleweight and middleweight. He won the interim WBO title at light middleweight in November 2008. His debut against Sergio Martinez in December 2009 was one of the most exciting and competitive fights of the era, with Williams winning on points. In November 2010, at the age of 29, he faced Sergio Martinez in a rematch, but this time he was defeated by Martinez by a hard knockout in the second round. This was the heaviest defeat of his career, 39-2. Approaching 30. After his defeat to Martinez, he continued his career, defeating Erislandy Lara, 40-2, by a controversial decision in July 2011. He finished 2011 at the age of 30. In short, Paul Williams experienced the most productive period of an athlete in his 20s. He quickly rose to the title, defeated some big names, but also suffered some tough defeats, and moved up the weight classes, establishing himself as one of the best fighters in the world. Paul Williams's life after turning 30 was shaped by the tragic end of his career due to a motorcycle accident in 2012. Being born on July 27, 1981, Williams was 30 years old in May 2012. This accident severed his spinal cord and left him paralyzed from the waist down, abruptly ending his professional boxing career. Summary of his life after turning 30. End of career. At the age of 30, May 2012, he was involved in a motorcycle accident. The severed spinal cord left him paralyzed and confined to a wheelchair. This forced him out of the sport at the peak of his boxing career, just before a major fight with Canelo Alvarez. Outlook on life and rehabilitation. He struggled mightily in the early days following the accident. However, he retained his fighting spirit and maintained a positive attitude. Returned to boxing as a trainer. Despite being paralyzed, he didn't completely abandon boxing. With the encouragement of his manager and trainer, George Peterson, he began training a few years later. This allowed him to pursue his passion for the sport in a different way. By imparting his own experiences and knowledge to young fighters, he brought a new purpose to his life. In short, Paul Williams's life after the age of 30 was characterized by his determination to continue his fight for life and his dedication to boxing in a different role, despite the unexpected and tragic end to his career.